My name is Garcia. I am a poet and a zine maker, and up until this point I've pretty exclusively posted just poetry performance videos on this channel. But I have been making zines for 1 year now, and I've decided that I really wanted to add more zine content to the YouTube landscape because I have kind of hit a wall where I regularly search for zine creators on here, and I'm not really finding that many new people who are regularly creating zine content. So I wanted to solve a problem that I have noticed by contributing more content like what I'm looking for. So hopefully that is of interest for you. If it's not, no worries. But a lot of my zines do include my poetry, so it's not like I'm completely abandoning my poetry stuff. Before we go any further, if you're so confused and you don't know what a zine is, I'll give you a brief definition. A zine, short for magazine, is a DIY publication that usually has a very limited print run, and it's all about DIY. There are no rules about zines. Zines can be about anything, and oftentimes they really embrace like a handmade, not corporate kind of like style, where it's like, we're not trying to make money off of these things. We're trying to get our art, our thoughts out into the world, and we are taking full control. And so today I come to you from my art room where I have been desperately trying to organize my craft supplies and my zine supplies. And while doing all of that, I undertook a process of organizing my collection of my zines that I have made, and I used a method that Braddy Bree made a video on, where I took a photo album and put my mini zines in there. So I want to show that to you today, and I also want to show the 3 zines that I made in the month of January 2025. So I want to show you the zines that I made in January of 2025, but I'll have to backtrack a little bit. I Did It Scared was my very first booklet size zine, and it was also the very first zine I had printed by a professional company. I went with the company Mix'em, which I will link down below. And the reason I chose this company was because a bunch of zine makers on YouTube had used it and they were pleased with the results. So I wanted to try that company for this zine. It's got a nice gloss cover. I'm not sure how well it's showing up on the camera. I do not have a viewfinder that I can see, so hopefully it's visible. But the reason I went with a professional company for this zine was because in order to make a zine this size, I was going to have to master the task of printing double-sided on a printer, and I was terrified about that. I was very scared that to do this full color zine and print double-sided, I was going to waste so much ink that it would essentially not be worth it. So that's why I went with this process. But this zine is about me performing my poetry over the years and the ways in which I really had to deal with fear. I have never performed any poems on stage and not been utterly terrified about it. So I wanted to make a zine about it. I also did include some poems in here, but I really love the color and how that turned out, and I love the feel of the pages. This is like, I'm so glad I went through this process because I absolutely love how this turned out. And then in the back, I also put I put a bonus mini zine. I stuck this in there because I didn't want the little, stickers that are holding the glue stickers to be visible, so I also included that. But overall, I was so pleased with how this turned out, and while I do feel I have gained some confidence in double-sided printing, I in the future will definitely consider this company if I need to print zines of this size again. But again, this is not necessary to print this size of zine. You just have to have more confidence in your abilities than I did. Then I made this mini zine, which was random facts about Foy Coco. I made this for my nephew, who is obsessed with Pokemon just like I am. And in it are these little drawings of Foy Coco. I drew these by hand with colored pencils, and then I uploaded them to the internet where I edited them. But yeah, I made this for my nephew. It's supposed to look like a little Pokedex, which is what you use to track information about Pokemon that you catch in the games. And then, as you saw in my I Did It Scared zine, I also turned my poem, A Tornado Stormed Into My DMs, into a mini zine. This is currently something I'm only offering to people who get a copy of my zine, I Did It Scared. But on the inside, it's very simple. I just wanted it to kind of look like DM bubbles, specifically on Facebook. And then I also included a QR code to a video of me reading this poem on stage. And this is the zine that actually helped me gain confidence in double-sided printing. So for my booklet size zine, I wasn't feeling very confident, but now that I have created this zine, I definitely feel more confident in my ability to print double-sided. It was a learning process though. This is a quarter size zine, and it is actually made out of a single sheet of paper. You just fold it into quarters, and then you have to cut the top off to make the pages turn. But this is my zine about how I've never experienced anything that made me believe that ghosts were real. I have been to some very haunted places, including the Gettysburg Battlefield and Waverly Hills Sanatorium, and everyone around me had some kind of ghostly experience, but I did not. And this zine talks about that. I was very pleased with this because, first of all, I drew these little ghosties and this this picture of myself. I am not the best at drawing without a reference photo, and so the fact that I kind of just did these was really me taking a leap of faith. Just put it out there into the world. It doesn't matter if it's perfect, it just matters that you do it. And I was really trying to live by that. I don't want perfectionism to keep me from creating zines, and so I put my goofy little line drawings on the front page of my very first quarter size zine, and I was totally successful in printing multiple copies, double-sided, on a single sheet of paper. So far this year of 2025, I feel like I have learned a lot of skills and experienced working with a professional company to get my products made, and I definitely am looking forward to trying out even more new things in the future so that I can continue making unique and different kinds of zines. But with all of that, I wanted to show how I've decided to store my mini zines. This is a photo album. I got this idea from watching a video by Braddy Bree. It is an idea that kind of has been floating around the zine world of storing mini zines in a photo album, but I really wanted to do this because I almost lost a master copy of one of my zines, a master copy being like the original, like the very first one you make. I almost lost one because it had gotten put away with some random paperwork. I did find it, but that kind of made me very nervous about losing some of my zines if I didn't have like a very specific place to store them. So I store all of my mini zines in here. This was the very first mini zine I ever made, and on the side here it gives you a little space to write any info you want. So I wrote the title of the zine and then the date it was created. I also put a little piece of paper back here because what I noticed was that the mini zines were kind of loose, and I didn't want them like falling out of this pocket, so I just put an extra piece of paper behind there to keep them in there. See how they're just kind of coming out. Doesn't have to be perfect, but so from here you can see all of the dates of the zines that I created. But I kind of love this because it allows me to have all of my mini zines in one location. It is very portable, so if I ever move or need to take this with me somewhere, it is very easy to do that. I even wrote zines. I don't know if that's if you can see it, but I wrote zines on the spine, so when it sits on my bookshelf it is very easy to locate. But I just think this is really cute, and I am a big fan of using a photo album to store your mini zines, and I wanted to share that because a big thing I've been working on is keeping my zine supplies and all of my craft stuff organized, and this was very, very helpful. But yeah, so this is what I have made so far in 2025 in the month of January. Thank you so much for watching, and have a great rest of your day.